G'day guys, Mac with the Circle, and today I want to talk about the next stages of the HoRUs HeRESy release from Forge World that was put up on Warhammer Community, and basically why it's total bullshit. So, they go into saying, it's been an incredible year, look at all the amazing stuff we released. Well, if you look through this article, Blood Angels Destroyers, which just dropped, Brutes, Night Lord Dreadnought, some other Dreadnoughts. That's basically everything they released this year. So it's not like it was some glorious year where they released tons and tons of miniatures for us. I mean, most of it was just, we made a new skin for this same basic Contemptor Dreadnought base miniature, or Leviathan Dreadnought base miniature. We just added some shit in Photoshop, printed it out in a 3D resin printer, and then we sell them. Not exactly the most inspiring year for us, has it now? And they talk about how, we won't be having a weekender next year because we're just too busy working on this great HoRUs HeRESy stuff. Well, I'm sorry, as per the graphs I've shown in previous episodes on this show, the time between releases is getting longer and longer and longer, and when releases do happen, they're smaller and smaller and smaller. Yes, you gave us the Primarch Sanguinius this year. When are we getting the Khan and the Lion? I imagine we'll get the Lion sometime in 2020, but what about the Khan and his bike? What about the Emperor? Anyone? Yeah, I don't exactly have much faith in the company at all at this point. When they say, we're working on heaps of stuff for the HoRUs HeRESy, I don't buy it because we don't see it. We're not seeing it. This year, if the releases is breaking double digits, I'd be shocked. And if you took away Praetors and Dreadnoughts from that, the releases would probably fit under one hand. Let me think now. Crimson Paladins, Kizagan Landspeeders, Golden Kashyyyk, Ebon Kashyyyk, and Angel's Tears. Oh, I suppose Demon Brutes. So there we go, 6. 6 different sets of miniatures released this year. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Death... I have to double check. The Death Swarm may be this year. That could be 7. I thought they were at the very end of last year, but could be wrong, and if I am, I'll own it. So, as it stands though, not exactly great. Okay? And do remember, Malevolence, Sanguinius, Crimson Paladins, all that sort of thing, that came to us back in February. So, that really is all stuff that was designed, produced, painted in last year. So, what the fuck has that got to do with next year? Like, come on. This is just bullshit PR talk, and what it boils down to is, we can't be fucked hosting a weekender, and even if we did, we have nothing to show for it. Now, what could they realistically show? Well, being a book about the Dark Angels and the Night Lords, I'm imagining sort of probably 3 specialist units for Dark Angels if they did all 3. They'd really want to hit it out of the park and do that, as opposed to making just 1 unit or 2. They'd also want to have a special character, probably Causewayne for the Dark Angels would be great, but I wouldn't put it past Forge World to do what they've previously done, which is create their own Snowflake special character who no one's ever heard of and focus on making that character a thing, that even though nobody cares for them. They just love doing that with their releases. Vile Redblade, Gygor Fellhanded for Space Wolves, for example. Neither of which are characters people asked for or wanted. And the same goes for many others. We still don't have many characters. We don't have a fucking Lucius, for example, for the Emperor's Children. We don't have a Sultavits for the Emperor's Children. There's another one. So, instead we get things like Marshal Durask Rask for the Death Guard. Ooh. Or the Adjutant of the World Eaters, Shabrandar, I think it was. Yeah, ooh, wow, please, I need all these characters. Sorry, am I sounding really sarcastic and cynical right now? Wonder why. So, I'd imagine they'd have those. So that's at least 4 units for the Dark Angels, a character and 3 specialist units. The Lion, of course, it'd be shocking to have a Black Book release with no Primarch. Would be a first. And I suppose Atramentar for the Night Lords. I don't really see them doing much else, realistically, for those. The only thing I can think of would be maybe Dark Mechanicum, and, well, again, I don't see them bringing out new tHAts or anything like that. I imagine maybe some sort of War Machine or a variant pattern of, say, a Domitar or a Castellax that's a Dark Mechanicum more specific. And then really, I think that's probably where they'll end their love for the Mechanicum, just in general with the HoRUs HeREsy, because clearly they don't want to put the effort in anymore. So they'll probably just say, look, we give them a couple of Mechanicum, Dark Mechanicum units now, and then we'll just let the players convert their own or whatever up until the end of the HeREsy, and we'll make the next book, you know, fucking Siege of Terror or whatever, something lazy like that. But seriously, are they telling us that it takes them a year to put out one of these books at this point? We know that there is not enough content in these books to justify a year of development time. The only thing in my mind which makes sense is that, and also is backed up by what I've heard, is that basically the staff get a few weeks here and there to work on this sort of stuff, and they're really just working on other projects throughout the year. Tony Cottrell, of course, is a shitlord, and likes to pull people off the projects that they know, put them onto something else, and then fill their spot with someone who doesn't know anything about the project. They spend ages then learning that project, then they get pulled off it to do something else, and so things very slowly move forward. It's a fucking clusterfuck inside that company. And to have the guy going on Warhammer TV and going, oh, you know, wouldn't it be great if there's a HoRUs HeREsy version of Warhammer Fantasy? Ooh, fuck off. Complete what you started. You are like the fucking definition of the people in this hobby who buy an army, fail to paint the army, and then buy another army. You're like that personified as a fucking person. Yes, this frustrates me. Yes, this makes me angry. Because, well, I don't know that I necessarily expected the Weekender, but I don't expect anything so lazy as... This is basically just advertising. It's just paragraph after paragraph of, we added these awesome new models for these legions. We added these awesome models for demons. We added these awesome models for Mechanicum. They're not telling us anything. You're not giving us anything. You get down to here and we get the Blood Angels Tears, which are a fucking broken unit. And they look like the fucking unenthusiastic handjob of miniature sculpts. It's like a stylized... It's not even as cool as like the Sanguinary Guard 6-pack nipple armor. This is like the lazy version of that, where it's like... Okay, so if something like Sanguinary Guard from 40k, or like, you know, Alexander the Great's armor, these are like Batman and Robin's armor. From the Joel Schumacher film. You know, where Arnold Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze, George Clooney was Batman, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, okay, cool. Some cool pictures for Book 8. Or what, 3? 3 pictures for Book 8? Maybe 4, I guess. That looks like the Thramas Crusade, so we'll say 4 pictures. The Spartan has already been seen before. And that's a book cover. So, okay, so from here down in the article has nothing to do with the HoRUs HeREsy itself, basically. So the only thing that actually has to do with Book 8 is these 4 images here. They're on screen right now. Some of which we've already seen. That's just blatantly the units they already have painted. They've just photoshopped a background in. It's like in the past, at least, the backgrounds were like the scenic diorama boards that Forge World used to make. Except for, obviously, Burning of Prospero, because that's entirely different, because it was on an Egyptian-style world. But all the other backgrounds were the boards they actually made for it. Like, they would have them on the Istvan 5 table, or on the Istvan 3 table, and they'd Photoshop in, like, smoke and fire, of course. This, though, isn't on any table. That is an absolute matte painting background. Someone just drew that. They haven't made a table for them. Or if they've gonna, they've not finished it yet. It must be coming, I guess, when the book drops. Maybe it's a last-minute rush job, but, I mean, all the miniatures on it, they're, like, in the past you'd see, like, custom-built Praetors and stuff. No, they're just using the stock ones they've already built and painted for display on the Forge World website. The exact same poses and everything. Like, look at the Night Lord's Dreadnought there, and then compare it to the Night Lord's Dreadnought here. Oh yeah, he's got the closed fingers on the right hand, body hanging off the torso, leaning off to the left, the decal of the hand on the left chest, the lightning bolt across the crotch area. Then we go down and, oh look, lightning bolt across the crotch area, the hand decal on the chest. It's just the exact same model. They just went, fuck it, Photoshop it in. Just lazy. I can do that at home. In fact, I have done that at home before. Give me a minute here. Yeah, so, obviously for my characters, for their fluff, I'm going to give them all a background and that kind of thing. And look, here's one of my White Scars characters in a lovely White Scars themed background. Same background there, just not in the book format. So obviously this one I've got the border and everything, like a HoRUs HeRESy book. I don't know, it took me like, I'll say 25 minutes, half an hour, to take my character, cut the character out from his background, put him into the new background, and then put an overlay of this in. But you know, I'm sure that the people with the professional software over at Forge World would have a much harder time at doing this. My chaplain on bike, same thing. Some bike riders ploughing through the field. Not very happy with that one, but that's why it hasn't really gone further. Of course, my Terminator character. So, yeah, I can do it too, and I'm not trained in doing any of this. I'm just totally off the cuff for me, but, you know, to me that looks like a black book. That looks like the exact sort of thing I'd see in the page of a black book right there. So I think I did an alright job. Anyway, yeah, it's just unenthusiastic. Yeah, we're going to do heaps for the HoRUs HeRESy next year. By the way, this Zone Mortalis board has nothing to do with you, Forge World. So why are you showing it? Because you're not the one making it. This is a Games Workshop product, right? And that's nowhere near enough terrain for a Zone Mortalis match. That's enough terrain for 2 tiles, and you've got it spread out over 4. For the hosts who don't believe me, go and look at a Zone Mortalis table. They're supposed to be tight, confined corridors, roughly 2 of the little squares you see wide. Yeah, so you've given us a dozen units this year, maybe lucky to break the 20 units mark, and if you took away Dreadnoughts and Praetors and such, custom consoles for the Legions, then you're basically in the single digits of releases this year, which is pretty fucking pathetic, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't really buy this whole we can't do a weekender thing because we're just so busy giving you all this great stuff. It just reeks of corporate bullshit. It comes down to you can't be fucked doing a weekender, and if you did, you don't have anything to actually release at the weekender. That's fine, I just wish you'd come out and say it. You know, don't try and lead a song like, oh no, we got heaps planned, you know. It's going to be the biggest year in the HoRUs HeRESy yet next year. When, statistically, we've been going downhill ever since Book 5. Very honestly. Also, just as a side note, I was on Forge World's website the other day because I want to do a Christmas giveaway this year of a small HoRUs HeRESy army. And I have 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts for it. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I don't have arms for them. Maybe I'll just bite the bullet and just buy a couple of arms off Forge World. I went on Forge World, $30 Australian per arm. So $180 to kit out these Dreadnoughts the way I wanted to. That's 6 arms. $180. Do you know I could go to a recaster, have delivery next week, not 2 weeks' time like Forge World will do, and the recaster will give me 6 arms for the same cost as one of Forge World's. That's how insane the markup is. And in pounds, the arms are, I believe, £11. Which, once you do the taxes and do the conversions, somewhere around the 17 Australian dollar mark, including our taxes and such. So why do they double that? Fuck you, the consumer, that's why. But I imagine they're not going to be getting many sales from Australians for that sort of thing anytime soon. So, again, is it better to charge more for something and get more per individual sale, or piss off your community so much they don't buy from you and you sell nothing to them? In which case, you're probably hurting your bottom line more, is my thinking. But, what the fuck would I know, hey? Anyway, back with the Outer Circle. This is a public service announcement about how to read bullshit. And yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think this is bullshit? Do you think I'm totally wrong here? And that no, they really desperately did want to do a weekender, and they had so much stuff ready for it, but they're just so snowed under working on all that amazing stuff that they just can't possibly do a weekender. Or do you think if they did a weekender, maybe they were lazy about it, and maybe they don't want to get people like myself there who would say, what the fuck are you doing? Because I really don't think they like accountability in this place. They're the sort of people that they want to be like a computer games company, like an EA. They want to get up there on stage and go, we've done this. How great is this? How good is this? And they don't want to have the people stand up in the audience and say to them, like Blizzard or something, be like, is this a late April Fool's joke? They don't want that. They just want you to consume, buy, consume, you know, come back and buy more product again. That's all they want, and it's really disgusting. And we're at the point now where I find Forge World way more despicable than Games Workshop. And for years it was the other way around, where I was like, Forge World, you're knocking it out of the park, you're giving us all these constant releases, your prices are fairly priced, it's just a straight conversion from your currency into ours. You don't have staff in Australia working for Forge World. All your staff are in the UK, so you pay them in pounds. So it doesn't matter if it's Australian dollars or Japanese yen that you paid in, as long as you pay your staff the same amount. But you're not doing that now. You've gone the other way. You've gone for Games Workshop doled up to 11 on the greed chart, and my bullshit meter is just going off the charts when I see this sort of thing. So, you know, you can't write a article on Warhammer Community which is just, we released this. What a great year it's been. What are your plans for next year? Oh, well, you know, we have lots. That's it. This is all we actually know about next year. 2 paragraphs. 3 sentences. Alright, fucking, really? Really? Come on. And also, yeah, the Angel's Tears, the unenthusiastic handjob of HoRUs HeRESy sculpts. Back with the outer circle. This is your cynical PSA, and I'll see you all next time.